Are you looking for something challenging to perhaps play with your friends? Well, look no further than Risk of Rain 2. Hello everyone, the Duke here, and today we're having a wine tasting of this game. We're not downing the whole bottle and explaining how everything works, but more of a little sip of what it's about, so that if you're interested in the game, you might be intrigued. Risk of Rain 2 is a roguelike, and the basic loop of it goes like this. You land in the level and look for the teleporter. Upon finding it, you activate it, which spawns a boss, and you kill that boss, which allows you to progress to the next level and thus starting the loop over. There's several playable characters, each with their own quirks and features. This is where the game gets complex, as in addition to these different characters, there's also different game modes, different modifiers, and of course, different items that you collect throughout the level that can boost your character and make them quite insane if you know what you're doing. Also as a note, the game tells you absolutely nothing. The longer you stay in levels, the harder it gets, making your time very valuable. This game is very difficult, and not one that I would recommend for solo play, as co-op is the optimal experience. Now, while this game is a roguelike, there is a way to initiate a final boss battle, so that way it has an end. If you're not sure what a roguelike is, it's typically a game that gets harder and harder, and the only way it ends is if you die or give up. This style game is based off the 1980 game Rogue, and thus everything after it is considered a roguelike, as a fun little bit of trivia. There's also some challenge areas, a shop to buy some stuff, and a whole lot of stuff that's not explained in this video as there simply isn't enough time. Like I said, this is merely to give you an introduction to what the game is about and a few of my favorite things, because, well, there's a whole lot more to it under the surface. The game has a simplistic yet beautiful art style, and the levels are quite diverse, providing a nice backdrop as you proceed through them. The audio design is very well done, and the soundtrack has sort of a space punk vibe to it. I don't know why, but that's how I interpret it. I bought the game for $12 on CD Keys, though it normally retails for around $25 on Steam. It's also available on all consoles, including the 4 people on Stadia. The game's quite stable, I've never had any issues with it crashing, and there's also lots of content that they plan to add in the future. As for the story, you're investigating a distress signal. That's a very simplistic version of it, but there's a ton of stuff to unpack, much of it quite strange. This is a very difficult game, and although you can make yourself very powerful, it is important to figure out what the items do. It's not a Vermintide style situation where you have to play a certain way and have certain characters to progress, but knowing what the items do and how they work is pretty essential. I normally like to go into games blind without looking at any of the wikis, but if you don't have that much time to try out each item and figure out what it does, that may be a good option. Overall, I'm pleased with what my 12 Moaners got me. The game is quite fun, I love the art style, and of course, it's co-op. Perhaps if you're in the mood for a challenging co-op game, you might consider Risk of Rain 2. I hope you enjoyed the video and that it was informative. This has been the Duke, signing off.